Whenever they know LSU is going to come to town here in Tuscaloosa. So I think this game is going to be a fun one, but we don't really know how it's going to play out because it hasn't been talked about a whole lot because LSU's been going through a lot of changes lately.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Frank Wilson taking over as the interim head coach. Obviously, Brian Kelly fired, the athletic director fired, the new athletic director installed, maybe, potentially, but then permanently. So a lot of things circling this one, anything about the game. But when you talk to the guys in the football operations building, they are focused on the football. Frank Wilson excited to have this opportunity and maybe a change of direction for this Tiger football team.
Right now, our team is improving. I think we're a better team today than we were last week, simply because the student athlete, the players have bought into the things that we are trying to accomplish. First of all, they've acknowledged this is what we have done, this is what we have not done. And I think that's the first step. Once you acknowledge it, then you allow yourself to be open to constructive criticism, both for us as a coaching staff and for student athlete. And now we can move on.
And I think that's the big thing for this Tiger football team is figure out what you're doing well, what you weren't doing well, stay away from those things and try to accentuate on the positives. And when you get a new coaching staff in the middle of the season, they're basically going to reverse course from everything that they were doing previously, trying to get away from the old ways that weren't working. They do a lot of fun things to try to build morale. They did that with Tiger Ball this week. But also it gives the assistant coaches that are still there. Obviously, Joe Sloan, the offensive coordinator, was fired right after Brian Kelly was fired. So it gives the new assistant coaches, I guess, a new voice in the room, a louder voice, a seat at the table. So you can expect some things to be different with those new voices coming into play.
We're all shareholders in this, right? We all have stock in this enterprise, if you will. And so I think it was healthy for our staff to give them feedback, to receive feedback, to have the ability to give each individual the autonomy to speak on how can I help you be the best version of you in your room, on your side of the ball. What are the things necessary, offense, defense, and special teams that we have done or that we need to do?
Bree, there's going to be a couple of changes, I guess, to the coaching staff, if you will. Tim Rattay is now going to be working with the quarterbacks. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks here in a moment, but then Alex Atkins will be the offensive coordinator, for lack of a better term. Play caller is what Frank is calling him.
Yeah, and Alex Atkins has had experience. He was the offensive coordinator when he was at Florida State for a time, so I think this could play out in a good way for LSU. Get a kind of change of pace, trying to switch things up a little bit. He's kind of talked about that, alluding to the quarterbacks as well, so it could be a nice change for LSU going in this game.
I think one thing you're definitely going to see with Frank Wilson being the interim head coach is an emphasis on the run game. It's something that we have been kind of wanting to see. LSU's obviously struggled with that mightily, a lot of that having to do with the offensive line, but they might have found something in Harlan Berry. And with Frank at the helm, one thing is certain, you are going to see LSU commit to the run.
I think one of the keys for victory for us is that we will have to be able to run the ball. I think it's something that you have to invest in, and you can't just talk about it and say you're going to do it. You got to do it, and I think it helps us from a passing game standpoint to be more effective. I think it helps in holistically complementing your defense as well, and I think we have talented backs that can do it.
They can do it, Bree, but we haven't seen them do it this year. I mean, LSU from day one, obviously, has struggled to run the ball, and I don't expect that to necessarily change. Alabama doesn't have a great run defense, but again, maybe that commitment to the run could be the difference maker here.
Yeah, LSU, they've shown flashes of what they can do, but what they're lacking is consistency in running the ball, but also going to, the quarterbacks, maybe switching some things up there. Obviously, Garrett Nussmeier is their starter, but he hasn't played like we've seen him play before, and so you bring in, the backup, Michael Van Buren. He got in late in the game against Texas A&M. He led a touchdown drive, kind of showing a little bit of what he can do, and he might be effective for LSU, especially in those kind of third and short situations.
Gotcha. Hold that thought because we're still sticking on the run game right now. Harlan Berry carries, a guy that's shown some flashes for sure. He is a guy that we're expecting to get the first carries in this one, kind of replacing Caden Durham. Harlan, obviously the talented freshman out of New Orleans, has been slow to the field, but once he's been there, he's been electric, and he is kind of a guy that they're hoping can carry this team on the ground as they push forward here against Alabama today.
Garrett is our starting quarterback. We do think that Michael brings some special things to the table that makes the defense have to defend him as well. And so we'll look at the opportunities that present itself to him for us. And when they present themselves, we'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, all right, so that was about Michael Van Buren. Apparently we were just jumping right into that. Yeah, Michael Van Buren, I think, will play. I think he's going to have some packages. It's something that we were trying to figure out why he wasn't used earlier this season, certainly in that Southeastern game. But in the goal line situations, I think Michael Van Buren is absolutely the key that unlocks LSU scoring those touchdowns in those tight areas, in the red zone, in those first and goal situations. He is obviously a more talented runner at the quarterback position than Garrett Nussmeier, a more willing runner, but he can throw the ball, and I think that is what makes LSU dangerous in those situations. So I don't know how many plays he's going to get. I don't know if he'll get full series, but I expect him to probably get around 10 snaps in this football game, and it could be the difference maker if LSU stays in this one. All right, we talked about it earlier. Looks like a cloudy, kind of dreary day here in Alabama. What's it look like back home? Let's check in with Balin Rogers with a look at your weather today.
Hey, all eyes are on that major cold front that looks to move through in the overnight hours. I do want to briefly talk about the weather over there in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I know you, Michael, and Bree were talking about there is a few showers out there. The good news, it looks like conditions are going to improve by tailgate time. Partly sunny conditions, temperatures warming up to 76, kickoff at 68, and we start to introduce a slight rain chance by the end of the game as that cold front that's going to move through our area is also going to move through Alabama as well. Have not forgotten about you, Southern. You're playing away in Lorman, Mississippi. Pre-game, some clouds out there, 72, kickoff at 78, end of the game at 70 degrees. All right, let's get back to southeastern Louisiana. It is a muggy start at 74 degrees. We do notice some clouds that are building in the area. It's going to be a partly to mostly cloudy day across southeastern Louisiana, but all eyes are on that strong cold front. You can see that storm system organizing in the central portions of the country, front extending south of that. Very cold Arctic air is behind the front. You even notice there's some snow in some of the central portions of the United States. We're certainly not going to see that, but we will see that Arctic air. I'm going to be talking about that front in a little bit more detail coming up. Back to news.
All right, thank you, Balin. Next after the break, Michael and Bree will break down the LSU defense ahead of tonight's highly anticipated matchup. I'm Destiny Beasley. Stay here. You're watching WBRZ Morning News.
Style or substance. Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Or get 0% APR with an average finance savings of over $4,600 on this Sierra 1500 model. We are professional grade.
So, Jason Kelsey's the special guest on Good Morning America Monday morning? Better set your alarm, Jason.
Wait, what?
Jason Kelsey's bringing it to your morning.
Let's do this, America.
Monday on GMA.
America, I don't think you're ready for this.
If McCann's can't do it, no one can. McCann's Mobile Homes. Whether buying a single, double, or triple wide, McCann's is gonna be by your side. You know the Robbie and Wade. Best deal is gonna be made. We've got acres and acres of satisfaction makers. If McCann's can't do it, no one can. McCann's Mobile Homes.
Bear Creek Western Store, it's where the West begins.
Mark, it was in 1965 that my grandparents opened Bear Creek Western Store. It's been 60 years since Grandma's hobby got out of hand.
Yeah, Dad, we're sure glad it got out of hand. Boys and girls can still saddle up and see where the West begins.
Bear Creek Western Store, it's where the West begins.
Insurance companies provide a valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Injured? We will introduce you to the best medical care and fight for all the money you deserve. Call me Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's injury lawyer.
From the official news station of LSU Athletics, this is WBRZ Morning News at 10.
That was fun. That was probably one of the funnest periods I've had this year, because that's real football. Not people on defense, 7 on offense, so we're outnumbered. So it's harder on us, but, I love the challenge. And, man, pads were popping today, and there was just such a high energy, and it made it so fun. I definitely love that they added that to the practice.
Tiger center Braylon Moore excited about the physicality coming back to practice, and really that's what you want to hear, especially from the offensive line, a unit that really has struggled to show some physicality. Welcome back, everyone. We're in Bessemer, Alabama, previewing tonight's LSU-Alabama kickoff inside Tuscaloosa. That's about 30 minutes away from here. Bree Andrus, Michael Cobble joining you with this little bit of a preview here this morning, and as you can see, it's kind of a gray and dreary day here in Alabama. Rain's rolling through last night, but it's not going to dampen the spirits for this game. We've talked about it already. It's usually one of the biggest games on the year. It's lacking that real luster this season, though. I think because LSU already has 3 losses, Alabama seems to be cruising. Everybody was expecting them to have a down year, but unfortunately they figured it out. For LSU, though, it's kind of about getting back to those basics, and you heard Braylon Moore just talk about it, bringing that physicality back to practice. Bree and I talked about a new coaching staff being here at LSU for this game, and one of the things that they wanted to do was bring some of that pop and those pads back to practice, so they installed a little inside run period, which is rare getting this physical this late in the season.
One of the things for him was, Coach, I need to see physicality in an inside run drill, if you will. You got it. We're doing it tomorrow. All right, so we'll get a little roughed up, if you will, and play inside run offense against defense so that we're given the best sample size. It won't be a full-out scrimmage. We're not doing those things in season, but we're going to mix it up a little bit so we can see speed and physicality that when our defense sees it on Saturday, it's not shocking because of the look you've gotten all week has not been realistic. And so there's been portions of the practice schedule that he has asked for that we're going to give him to allow us to simulate a game situation best. But he's been fantastic. He's all in. The defensive staff is all in, and we're going to give them those things that they need defensively to get their swagger back.
That is Frank Wilson talking about your boy, defensive coordinator Blake Baker, asking for some specific looks, and it's something that obviously his defenses have struggled with throughout the years, not just this season, Bree. That's stopping a running quarterback. That's not necessarily going to be the situation today. No, Ty Simpson is more of a traditional pocket passer. He wants to beat you with his arm, so this could be a good matchup for LSU secondary. They have weapons back there, Mansour Delane being one of the best in the SEC, if not in the country. You also have guys like A.J. Halsey back there, too, so it could open up some things. Alabama going to try to air it out, but if LSU's defense can kind of lock things down, especially in the secondary, it could bode well for them. Yeah, I think that P.J. Woodland's a fantastic corner. Obviously, D.J. Pickett is coming along. There's some things there that LSU has a favorable matchup this week, but Ty Simpson has been absolutely on fire, skyrocketing up those Heisman odds lists. There's a reason why Alabama's playing such good football, and it starts at the quarterback position.
Ty Simpson is as good as they come. You know, you look at someone who's 20-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, an offense that goes as he goes, with quality receivers in Bernard and Williams, guys that can make plays, a quarterback that can throw the anticipatory throw into windows with good decision-making mindset, but also a guy who can run the ball when he need to. I think he can scramble, he can get yards when it needs to be, tough yards.
Yeah, Frank Wilson talking about Ty Simpson there. To me, Ty Simpson looks a lot like a baby Joe Burrow. I mean, he has got some zip on his passes. He's accurate, very good downfield, and he runs when he needs to, kind of like Joe did, runs when he needs to, and he will beat you with those runs, but he's not a run first or even a real run threat, but he can get the job done. He's been impressive, Bree.
No, absolutely. He only has 1 interception on the entire year. 20 touchdowns, only 1 interception. That's impressive. I don't even think he was someone that was really in the Heisman conversation coming into the year, but he's really kind of turned that around, just like his Alabama team has after that Week 1 loss to Florida State. He's second in the SEC in passing, and he could be a dangerous threat for LSU. But if Blake Baker really kind of pumped this team up and turned things around like they've claimed to, this might be a different story for LSU's defense.
I think the emphasis is on Corey Raymond and his corners and Jake Olsen and that safety crew to really lock down that second half of the field. LSU will be without linebacker Whit Weeks, and they haven't had a ton of success against good offenses when Whit has not been on the field. Luckily for them, though, they don't necessarily have to stop a running quarterback this week.
Just not trying to do too much, you know, at corner, you know, not trying to do somebody else's job. This week we really just emphasize do your own job, let the plays come to you, just being fundamentally sound, and then just playing within the system. You know, we got the talent, we got all the pieces, it's just, you know, we got to hit somebody in the mouth. And I think that's like the biggest thing this week is just, you know, bringing that first punch. And, you know, physicality, like I said, has been a heavy point of emphasis.
All right, let's look at how this game breaks down both offensively and defensively. Alabama averaging 34 points per game. LSU 25, so a little less than that. And, the passing offense, too, kind of similar, but Alabama has the advantage there, especially offensively. But Alabama's run defense, like we mentioned earlier in the show, not great. So LSU, if they could figure out how to run that ball consistently, it could bode in their favor, Cobble.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I take away from just looking at the numbers. Alabama scores at about 10 points more per game, but it's that rushing defense. And the thing really that stood out to me, Bree, is just how similar these two teams are. There is a path there for LSU to have some success, but it is a narrow line, and they're going to have to walk it very tightly. LSU just hasn't been clean this year, and that's why I think Alabama gets away with the victory. Hey, we're not done here. We'll be back, but of course we have more news coming your way right after this short break.
We at DePlessis Builders want to say thank you.
Thank you for making us one of this year's Pool and Spa News top 50 builders in the country.
That's right. We're one of the top 50 pool builders in the country.
See why we won this honor at DePlessisBuilders.net today.
Louisiana has big weather, and that can mean big damage to your roof. Call us for a free roof inspection to be sure. If we find damage, we'll even help you file it with your insurance. Protect your home with Rice and Roofing.
Just to be on the safe side.
Looking for a used or certified pre-owned car, truck, or SUV? Then head to any of our 13 dealerships and choose from our 14 different brands. A huge collection of used cars in stock. That's right, we have tons of used and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs on our lots right now and at allstarautomotive.com. With so many vehicles to choose from at any of our 13 All-Star locations, you really do get it all at All-Star.
All-Star Family.
I worked construction my whole life. Then one day, I hurt my back while I was on the job. I couldn't go to work. My bills were piling up. Then I realized Morris Bart helps people hurt at work. So I called.
If you get hurt on the job, one call, that's all.
Thinking about letting the insurance company take care of you after your car wreck? Think again.
I had over $30,000 in medical bills. The insurance company only offered to pay for 10.
I don't let the insurance companies bully my clients.
I needed to win. I got Gordon.
Just call me. Get it done.
Louisiana has big weather, and that can mean big damage to your roof. Call us for a free roof inspection to be sure. If we find damage, we'll even help you file it with your insurance. Protect your home with Rice and Roofing.
Just to be on the safe side.
Through these doors is your backyard paradise. We can design and build your dream pool, your outdoor kitchen, and even your own putting green. If you can dream it, we can build it at DePlessis Builders on Airline Highway today.
Call me Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's neck and back injury lawyer.
Now, this week's Best Bets with Hunter McCann.
Welcome into Best Bets. Let's get right into it and start with the Tigers and the Tide on WBRZ tonight. Alabama, a 10.5-point favorite in this one with the over-under set at 49.5 total points. Look, The Tigers have nothing to lose. With 3 conference losses and a slim to none chance of making the playoffs, they will play free on the road tonight, and that can be dangerous. LSU has not even sniffed their potential this season in my eyes, where on paper, this talent on both sides of the ball haven't put together a full showing through 4 quarters. Now, defensively, after 2 poor games in a row, Ty Simpson isn't the same type of mobile threat as Diego Pavia and Marcel Reed, so I think Blake Baker's unit will get back to form in this one. And I'm not sold that they will be clicking on all cylinders under Frank Wilson, but I think that the Tigers are going to put up a big fight against Alabama. I'm going to roll with LSU plus 10.5 points. They give the Tide everything they got and more. Moving back to this morning, though, at 11 o'clock right here on WBRZ, BYU on the road facing Texas Tech in a top 10 matchup. The Red Raiders are 9.5-point favorites in this one. The over-under set at 52.5 total points. The Cougars are undefeated this season, while the Red Raiders have dominated their opponents this season, despite a loss to Arizona State, where Tech was missing their quarterback, Barry and Morton. BYU sits at the top of the Big 12 thanks to quarterback Bear Bachmeier, who has catapulted the Cougars' offense on the ground and through the air. Now, the problem, though, for BYU is Bachmeier can be forced to make mistakes, especially on the road. I trust the Red Raiders to continue their dominance, and I definitely cannot trust a quarterback like Bachmeier, who wears number 47. That's disgusting. Give me the Red Raiders to cover 9.5 points today. And they jump it back into SEC action. The Texas A&M Aggies are heading on the road this afternoon to face the Missouri Tigers right here on WBRZ. Aggies 6.5-point favorites with the over-under set at 47.5 total points. And it pains me to say it, but Texas A&M may be the real deal. I still think that second half against LSU was more about the Aggies showing how good they can be, more so than LSU ultimately blowing the lead and giving up. For Missouri, their season was going so well until they lost their starting quarterback to Vanderbilt and ultimately lost that matchup. Now they return back home with an extra week of preparation to regroup offensively, but I'm not sold they are up for the challenge of going blow for blow with this lethal Texas A&M team. As much as I want to believe Texas A&M will fall flat on their face today and in November in general, I'm afraid they really are as good as advertised. So give me the Aggies minus 6.5 points. Finally, a battle of 2 top defenses this afternoon as Iowa hosts Oregon in Kinnick Stadium. The Ducks 6.5-point favorites with the over-under set at 42.5 total points. And the question is, how good are the Oregon Ducks? They haven't really played in but 2 competitive matchups, a tight win on the road in overtime against a very mediocre Penn State team, and then a loss at home to Indiana. Iowa, on the other hand, well, is of course Iowa. They excel on defense and then usually are below average on offense. But this season, they have had spurts of offensive success, and that feels really important in this matchup where both Oregon and Iowa have 2 of the top defenses in the country. So which offense can finally break through? Iowa seems poised to at least make it a close ball game, controlling the pace of play and making themselves known in the trenches like they always do. Oregon probably escapes Kinnick Stadium with a win, but Iowa won't go down so easy. I'm going to roll with the Hawkeyes plus 6.5 points this afternoon. Quick recap. Take the Tigers to play fast and free. LSU plus 10.5 points. Red Raiders to dominate the Cougars, covering 9.5. Texas A&M minus 6.5 against Mizzou. And lastly, Iowa to control that pace of play, and the Hawkeyes plus 6.5 is the pick. All right, stick around. We will head back out to Tuscaloosa with Michael Cobble and Bree Andrus later in the show. But when we come back, Destiny Beasley is back with your local news.
My name is Josh Hughes. I'm currently on the HRT program. I reconnected with one of my friends that I haven't seen in years. And when I saw him, he looked younger. He looked absolutely amazing. I asked him, what was your secret? And he said, Rejuvenate.
In honor of our brave men and women in uniform, V-Watch Furniture is celebrating Veterans Day this Saturday and Monday.
Veterans won't be forgotten, and we're extremely grateful for your service to our country.
It's our opportunity to recognize all veterans with a special thank you from the bottom of our heart.
All day Veterans Day, come in and let us honor our heroes.
Do you know someone that has served? Let us know and qualify for the special pricing.
Drive a